So let's talk about our first assignment. So we're going to take our piece of paper, all right, on our first sheet. You're going to fold it up like this, fold it in half, and then fold it back down. And all this does is give us two rectangles on which we're going to work. We're going to do one sketch here and one sketch here. Okay, so now we have our charcoal, we have our rag, we're ready to roll, okay? So let's talk about our strategies. Now, in our course format, I talked about how to set up your table. Your light needs to be on one side of the table, either artificial light or a window. And you can see in my own studio, I have the table perpendicular to my window, all right? And what that does is it provides a clear pattern of the light and shadow and makes it easier to see your objects clearly, okay? So this exercise, we're going to use 3 onions. I chose onions because they're a very common household food item, and because they're very clear in their shape. So let's talk about our strategies. So when I refer to axis, let's look at our onion here. This onion has an axis. There's the stem side and the root side, and right through the very center of this onion is a core and an axis, just like the globe, okay? And if I spin this, that axis does not change. It runs right through the middle. Now, when we look at the onions that I have placed on the table, that axis appears in different positions, okay? So the way I want to begin is discovering where that axis is. All right, so my larger onion that's further in the back, it's moving in that direction. The onion in front, the axis is moving that way. And then my onion to the right, its axis is moving this way, okay? And this is how I'm going to begin, with 3 lines, okay? Now let's look at the onion again, all right? So now we have to discover, once we have the axis, what the shape of this onion is, okay? And that's when I talked about the chipping away with short straight lines, like this onion is a block of wood, okay? And I'm going to look at the outline, and you can see that the outline is really made up of not big long curves, but actually shorter little planes that make up that curve, okay? So that's what we're going to do next, okay? So right now I'm going to start with my back onion. I'm being conscious of my axis, okay? And I'm chipping away. I'm looking for the low point of my onion where it's sitting on the table, and the high point of my onion. That's the highest point on the upper side, okay? All right, so there's my back onion. Now I know that my front onion overcuts that back onion. So I'm going to readjust my axis because I have it a little low here, okay? So it's really up about that high. So then I'm going to chip away at that one. Short, straight lines. Look for that low point on the table. And in this view, this onion is kind of on the round side because it's very foreshortened with the stem on that area. Okay. Now let's look at the other onion over here. Okay. I think I have to raise that a little bit. And this onion also appears pretty round. I'm chipping away at it. I'm going to look again for that low point on the table. Go up and around. Short, straight lines, okay? And then my stem is facing that direction on that one. Okay, so we've kind of chipped away at the outline to get a feeling for it. We've built it around a central axis. I adjusted the axis to make sure that all 3 onions are kind of in the ballpark of where they should be. Okay. Now I want to talk about the cross contour line. Okay. So the cross contour, if we think of this onion as a globe, it's like the equator that runs around the middle of the onion. If my onion is turned this way towards me, we can see that that equator is moving this direction, right? If that onion starts to turn away, that equator starts moving in the opposite direction, okay? Until we finally come all the way around where it's directly facing us again and will be a perfect circle, okay? So this is called the cross contour line. And it's going to tell me, is this onion pointed towards me, slightly away from me? Is it pointed up? Is it pointed entirely away and the bottom is starting to face me? That cross contour line creates a 3-dimensional feeling on a 2-dimensional surface of what is happening with our onion. All right, so my onion on this side, on the right side, this cross contour is moving in this direction. Okay? This stem part is turned towards me and actually falls within the outline of the onion. Okay? Now let's look at this one over here. This one, the cross contour is going this direction. Okay? This stem is turned and it's facing me. What about the onion that we're looking at the side of in the back? The stem is not closer to me, nor is the root side closer. So that cross contour is basically a straight line down the middle. Okay? So that line, that equator, is giving us the impression of how these onions are turned in space. Okay? And next I want to talk about proportion. Now, we don't want to get our onions larger than they are in real life, okay? So I know that this onion in the back, that's my largest onion, okay? So make sure that it appears larger than the other 2. But you also have to recognize that this onion on the right side is closer to the picture plane, all right? So it may actually be larger than the far one, even though proportionally the back one is a bigger onion, okay? And, but you want to make sure that the closest one does not get any bigger than it is in life, okay? And you can take your another onion and just get a sense of how large it is, okay? All right. And so you're going to do this in this upper section. You're going to rearrange your onions. You're going to do it again in the lower section. You're going to flip your sheet and then give me 2 more versions of these onions, okay? 1 up and 1 down. And then you're going to upload each sheet. So you're going to take a photo of this. You're going to create a place where you can lean your drawing up so that it appears vertical and parallel to your camera. All right, so there's not so much distortion when it gets to me, okay? You're going to take 2 images, 1 of each sheet, and you're going to upload it to the assignment section on the first exercise. Both sheets under the same assignment exercise, okay?